back to the bottom, 6 to go.
Makes a mistake again. He missed the shift. He's going to spin to the inside turn. He's going to take the lead.
Eli Hinton just got used up there in the hairpin. He's going to pick up a win after a long winless streak in victory lane. And the whole field just needs to get himself slowed down, hop these curves, up and over. There's that cannon running a tad wide. Great restart here for the 2 car, but also for the 48. He crosses him over, down into turn 1, there nose to tail. Here comes the 20 alongside. The 13 car gets turned. He's going to spin in turn 2.
The YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour has their playoffs looming just a couple races ahead. And now we head to road course racing here in Sonoma, California. And no, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is a dirt corner. We're at the Rallycross configuration of Sonoma Raceway tonight. And this is going to be a whole lot of fun. This racetrack is not designed for these trucks. These trucks are not designed for this racetrack. It's a road course. It's a dirt track. It's everything combined into one as the playoffs loom. And Finian, as we take a look at our cut line walking in here in just a couple minutes, it's getting pretty dicey at the back of the pack, and the midfield action tonight is going to be pretty wild to watch.
Yeah, indeed. Guys like Robert Hill Jr., Rusty Capel, Richard Hines, Austin Darbyshire, Matt Hackenthorne, they're all around the border and all in danger of getting kicked out of the playoffs. They're right on the borderline with the top 12 making it in, so they really could need to get a good finish here. That's going to be tough here because I think a lot of these drivers are not experienced with this configuration of Sonoma.
Well, Robert Hill Jr. is one driver that I think is really interesting because he sits right above the cut line, Finney. And remember, he won at Watkins Glen, the 3rd race of the season, and he comes in here on the cut line. So a driver like that, those road course skills, do those carry over enough here tonight, or is it just a total question mark on who's going to be quick tonight?
I think it is going to be kind of a question mark tonight. I don't know how much rally experience these guys have, but I'm sure if they have any, it's going to come into handy here. So, but definitely I think the road course, if you have experience with road course, will be a lot better than the oval, because pretty much nothing from the oval side comes on here.
So Robert Hill Jr. working his way under the gantry on the backstretch, and then heads up the hill through this long corner, and you're balancing the race car through these corners, and this is a very awkward truck to balance because the center of gravity is in such a weird spot. This is just a strange truck to drive on dirt in general, but let alone over hills and crests. So the challenges drivers have to face tonight, Finian, not only worrying about the racetrack on the dirt, worrying about making right-hand turns on a very weird dirt tire, as well as worrying about their position on the cut line. So this is getting very, very exciting as we head into our 15th race of the season. Justin Kolb in the 25 tonight. He's been on a roll in the cup side of things lately, and maybe time for some success on the truck side of things, although he goes off in the dirt section here as we jump up to the top of the board. Drew Eisenman in the 77. That's a driver who looks really quick right now, a 47.259. You even mentioned as we loaded in, the lap times here, not too bad, Finian. 47.2 in a truck this big and this heavy, not too shabby at a road course like this.
Yeah, and considering rear-wheel drive too, because I mean, pretty much the only things that could handle this are all-wheel drive cars. So it's a pretty amazing out there running sub 50 lap times in these trucks.
That is Matt Grunberg working his way through what is turn 4A in the stock cars around here. That big exit curb not being used. The wall goes right around it. Then you make a right-hander onto the straightaway and up and over the jump. And then you head down the long straightaway, and it transitions into pavement for a little bit, and then you're going to get all that speed, and Grunberg's going to be well over 115 miles an hour before jumping on the binders and sliding up this hill. And this is a really fun hill climb to watch. Look at the wheel, almost full opposite lock as they climb the hill.
Yeah, so going reverse through the carousel, and then over a crest, and then down into another sweeper, this time going left. This track requires quite a lot of rhythm to navigate it.
Yeah, this is also extremely tight in sections. There are some wide open sections, but right here on corner entry and corner exit, there's not a whole lot of racetrack. Passing is going to be extremely difficult. So if you're racing in the heats right now, remember top 8 transfer, so 3 drivers will not transfer to the next, or to the feature event later tonight. This is a 15-minute race. You can't wait. If you're not going to be quick enough to go past everybody, you got to be really aggressive at the start to capitalize on everyone else's mistakes.
Yeah, that's a thing too with these guys with the start. I believe they're doing a rolling start for the heats as well.
I believe it's standing for this. I think. Did he even do rolling here?
Well, they were gonna do a rolling
I
start.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're more in touch than I am here. There's your playoff cut line at the bottom of the screen. Robert Hill Jr. 14 up over the cut line. Capel up 2. Hines back 5 and Hackathorn back 8. So it's getting pretty tight. Hackathorn in the 44 just has not had luck on his side, and I don't think this is a great racetrack for him to go to tonight and expect to have luck. I think this is going to be a little bit of luck and a lot of skill that's going to determine the outcome of this. Because it's not going to be who's the best on dirt. It's not going to be who's the best on road courses. It's going to be who's the best on both. It's a weird mixture and conglomerate of both those styles of racing, and I don't really know if there's any one person. I think Matt Grunberg is a strong bet. I think Drew Eisenman's a strong bet, but this is only one heat, 15 minutes. Then we're going to do another 15-minute heat and then a 25-minute feature. Top 8 transfer to a full field of 16 for the full feature event at the end of the night.
Yeah, and if you're wondering how the Heat 1 and Heat 2 lineups are determined, it was done by points, so guys in the odd positions for the standings were put in Heat number 1, evens in Heat number 2, and everyone's going to start based on their championship order, and we will do a rolling start. These guys, after the standing start, these guys will line up as quick as they can, and then get to the jump, and once they get past the jump, then they'll get ready to go green for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, it's not a whole lot of racing. I think one of the things we expect is that the start of this race is going to be chaos, and right now Matt Grunberg is lined up on the front row. I think he's a strong bet to win this race. Drew Eisenman starting dead last, not where he wants to be, and I think he's quick enough to win this thing, but only 15 minutes to catch Matt Grunberg. I think we're going to see the field string out pretty quickly, but offs and people sliding off course are going to be pretty rampant tonight, I would expect. So going to wait for the green flag to drop, but of course it's not going to be the true green flag. It's going to be
I think
a short pace.
I think these guys are also going to be happy that it's not a green flag, because I mean, just look at these guys lining up so close to each other. I think they realize that it'll be absolute chaos, especially with the turning radius in the first turn. It's pretty much impossible to do at speed, let alone when you're 3 wide.
Yeah, I don't know if a 3-wide start would be all that great for these trucks, so it's smart that they're kind of sorting this out a different way. So, again, I think your drivers here tonight, this heat is pretty strong. It's got some strong players in it, but both heats were very strong. I believe Chad Frankenfield is not going to make it. He's going to take a provisional tonight. Honestly, probably not a terrible idea considering how wild this could actually be. So, got the green lights on the gantry. We're going to slowly roll off and get ourselves lined up for the start of this event. Nick Miller on the 99 is not going to take the grid. And what that means is he will not make it to the feature event. So we're only eliminating 2 drivers, and at the back of the field right now, it's Justin Kolb and Drew Eisenman. 8 of our 10 are going to transfer. And this is going to get exciting. The YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour heads to the playoffs, and the Sonoma Rallycross course is what stands between some of these drivers and a chance at the championship later this year. Waiting for the green flag officially to drop. And there it is. Green flag flies and Rallycross with the trucks.
Yeah, Matt Grunberg off to a fantastic start, leaving everyone in his dust. And Sam Close, Jordan McKeebay, Robert Hill will lead into the dirt section.
Oh, we got Richard Hines. He's battling for one of those playoff spots. A lot of dust in the air right now on a very clean racetrack as he climbs the hill. That's Grunberg out in front, trying to put a gap on Sam Close. And look how much dust there is. How can you see? Let's ride on board with Justin Kolb right now. You can't see anything from this truck.
Yeah, you really can. It's next to impossible, so you really want to be one of these front guys when you're running early on, because let alone you're handling a truck that can barely handle this, you also can't see, which is definitely not a good thing.
Back to the jump. There's Hackathorn slipping and sliding and up over the jump. This is an awkward corner. Kolb in the background is sliding. Hines is around, and he gets clobbered by Cody McCorkle before they hit the jump. Now an awkward jump over for the 12 truck. Hines at the tail of the field, and both those trucks in danger of elimination. Up the road, Eisenman trying to climb up the grid as high as he can. He's a threat to win the feature tonight, but he's got to climb up and do a little bit better in the heats if he wants to have a chance. So he's going to pass Kolb for 7th and set his sights on 6th place Hackathorn up the road.
Yeah, and Hines, what happened to him, just went a little bit too hard into the corner and then spun this truck around. Because, again, you can't discharge these corners. You have to take them very gently.
Robert Hill is off, and he's going to slip and slide and excellently corrects it. He was way off course, and it made it look like he intended to do it. He might have. with how smooth and collected that was.
I was gonna say, that's definitely a line you want to take an all-wheel drive car, not so much a rear-wheel drive one, but he's gonna make it work. So we'll see if he actually continues to use that as a strategy.
Dust in the background, more trucks climbing. I don't see any other incidents so far. Pretty clean and green, but that 77 is flying right now. And he's working his way up the hill. Again, a lot of dust, but you see the track already wearing out, and we talk about rubbering in a line. Well, this is kind of the opposite, Finian. Usually rubbering in is putting the rubber into the racetrack, and here, you're kind of wearing it out.
Yeah, so much, and really, once these guys start to run a lot more, you'll actually start to see the asphalt.
Robert Hill Jr. in the fence out of the final corner. And he's going to drill Tate Lytle in the rear bumper. Was there some contact between them that led to that? Let's back up just a little bit. And right on board with Tate Lytle as they were coming up out of the corner. And, oh, no, Hill just got out wide, and I don't think Lytle had anything to do with it.
So, I think that was Hill just trying to maybe get the spot back by punting Lytle into the corner, but no dice as he's going to be stuck in fifth now defending off Matt Hackathorn.
Still at the back of the field, the drivers in danger of elimination are Cody McCorkle and Richard Hines. Hines really struggling right now. Ran a 50.257. Wasn't the slowest lap for any of the drivers last time through, but he's about 5 seconds back from McCorkle, who's the next driver on the cut line. Meanwhile, up in fifth, it's Hill Jr. and Hackathorn fighting for that spot.
Hackathorn's really charging, and I'm noticing a lot of guys just taking a little bit of that dirt just to get a better line into that first corner. That really sharp right-hander down the hill.
You see a lot of drivers trying to get the rotation on their vehicles. You see them kind of chucking the car, or the truck rather, into the corner and slamming on the brakes to get it rotated. Maybe they're using that grass just to get the rear tires spinning in order to point the truck in the right direction for that corner.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame them. I mean, they pretty much have to. They're pretty much out of options because these things do not like to corner at these low speeds that they're going at.
Robert Hill Jr. off the course again, and that's going to open up for Hackathorn. We're watching Eisenman hacking at the wheel as the battle for fifth is heating up.
Yeah, and Hackathorn actually had to get off the gas because Hill almost caught him off, so Hackathorn had to back up. Now here comes Eisenman on the attack.
Eisenman looking really strong right now, up to seventh. He's the only driver that's been able to really pass anybody, and he's going to get on by Hackathorn. Matt's going to put up a fight, but they have to swing wide to avoid that wall, and they're going to swing back onto the course. And no jokers available, to Finian's dismay. But now Eisenman sets sights on the 38, who's made a couple mistakes so far. He really can't afford another one. He's got a bunch of left side damage from that contact with the wall. And I think the expectation for him is to try not to run into anything. But up front, it's all Matt Grunberg. A 48-1 last time through. That was 4/10 quicker than Sam Close. He's looking really strong.
Yeah, he really is looking like the man to beat. Really does seem like no matter what kind of track we're at, he's going to be up near the top.
So Eisenman, Hackathorn running pretty close together, 6th and 7th, but I'm also keeping an eye on the third place battle. That's Jordan McKeeboy in the 21. How about a driver that has come out of the, he's been really good lately. He's just shot out of a cannon in the last couple races, and also got a win under his belt a few weeks back, I believe. Am I thinking right?
Yes,
Thinking right.
Daytona.
Daytona, that's right. So Tate Lytle trying to pull him out of a podium spot. And Lytle was quicker last time by, so we're going to keep an eye on this battle as it is closing. 47.7 for Gruenberg up front. He just continues to run better and better laps. So that last time through was a 49.0. But he's still the quickest truck on the racetrack at the moment. Lytle trying to put pressure on McKeeboy. This is actually kind of, 15 minutes doesn't sound like a very long race, but
no,
we're 7 laps
long.
into this. It's almost 20 laps around here. That's a lot of jumps for these suspensions to take.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, too, I mean, in real-life rallycross, they would only go, I mean, typically you only do about maybe 10 laps around here, which is 40 seconds a lap. So, that's not a lot of time, and these guys are around here for much longer.
No, McKeeboy,
McKeeboy's
around. He spins, and he's going to lose maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 spots, possibly 4. But he's going to slide all the way. He's got to get that truck accelerated. He just dropped all the way to 7th. There's only one more truck that he can drop before he's on the cut line there for this heat. So a huge mistake for Jordan McKeeboy. That's going to bury him in the feature event if he does make it.
Yeah, I think looking at him, he just got a little bit too wide. It went off the dirt and into, I guess, the grass. and just lost traction and the truck went around.
Yeah, here's a view from on board the gyro cam on board this 21. You see he already has that wheel cranked, and he had it just locked to the right, and that's going to make those wheels essentially useless in the dirt. And it just really struggled to get it rolling, get the clutch slipped correctly. It's very difficult to get restarted on dirt, and a big mistake for the 21. In the background, you see Kolb. He's sitting pretty right now, but Cody McCorkle has been kind of stalking that 25, so really Kolb can't afford to make any mistakes. And he almost did right there. He went. We see the tire tracks from the 25. He almost went off the course the exact same way McKevoy did. So McCorkle fighting for his life. He's got 7 minutes to catch that 25 who's just up the road. It's a 2.5-second gap right now.
Oh, and Kolb did go off the road. Oh, McCorkle did as well.
So Kolb in the 25. This is still a 2.5-second gap. 2.7 now. And wow, McCorkle in the background. You see him really sliding that truck around. And oh, he ran almost a little bit wide off the side of the jump. That's a really dangerous place to run wide. If you run off that jump sideways, you're going to go over and into the fence.
Ooh, Eisenman, he's pitted around. He's lost some speed.
He'll drop down a spot, maybe 2 here. The worst place to spin out is on the uphill. And let's see what happened here. Enters the corner, has it sideways, and you see that track's all worn out. There's not as much grip as there was a couple laps ago. When he just tried to get the truck turned in, it didn't rotate. So I think the dirt corner is going to be the one everyone's watching, because as the track wears out, the grip level decreases, and drivers aren't expecting it to decrease that much. And McKevoy is on Eisenman's bumper now.
Ooh, Eisenman sliding yet again. Oh.
Kept it on course. But McKevoy is trying to close. 3.6 between Kolb and McCorkle, so that gap has extended itself out just a little bit. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left. And McKevoy sliding. He's going to be wide again. He's really close to the edge of the racetrack. Eisenman is as well, but they finally get it rotated in. McCorkle behind. He's not quite as experimental with an outside lane, and it's almost forming what you would call the cushion at a normal dirt track out there, Fitty. And drivers are running right up to the edge of the course, hoping to get a little extra dirt. Oh no!
Oh, McKevoy puts it around.
McKevoy in a really bad spot here. He's got to get that truck turned around very, very quickly. Here comes McCorkle. McCorkle is going to get himself in a transfer position as McKevoy spins out again.
Oh, that's I think gonna seal the deal there.
Oh man, and here comes Richard Hines as well, and McKevoy just threw that entire race away, and this is really not going to be good for his points efforts here. So a slip and a fall for the 21.
Yeah, everyone that does not advance will be given 17th place points. But yeah, I think McCorkle, it's not McCorkle, McKevoy definitely wants to avoid that. I mean, as you've been saying, he's been having a really good run here, but it might be coming to an end.
Oh no,
unless someone else makes a mistake.
He's almost run off the track again, almost spun it out coming up the hill.
Oh, speaking of spinning out, Justin Kolb's around.
Oh, yes he is. Right in the middle of the racetrack as well, trying to get it out of the way.
It's going to be hard for him to get it around. I think.
And here comes McKevoy. This is exactly what he needed to get his spot back, but he runs wide on the entry. But Kolb did get rolling, but he lost a ton of ground. The transfer spot up for grabs. Kolb has it. McKevoy wants it.
Yeah, this will be interesting too, because we definitely see that McKevoy has the pace to be in the upper part of the field, so he should be able to catch a 25. But let's see how this fight plays out.
Matt Grunberger right behind Richard Hines to put him 1 lap down here with 3.5 minutes left, and turning into the jump section here, up and over. And Richard Hines really struggling. This is not his style of thing here. Tate Lytle jumping the track as well. Go ahead, Phineas.
I was going to say, looking at this battle, Kolb went off the track on the uphill, and McKevoy gained a lot of ground. He's closing.
Yeah, Kolb really has to be worried. That 21 was pretty much eliminated until they came up over the hill and we saw the 25 sideways. McKevoy slow out of the corner. And Kolb really just has to run smooth and don't make any mistakes. Don't make it easy for the 21 to get past you. And an awkward jump for the 25. And much, much better for McKevoy as he closes in here. Here comes McKeevoy. He slipped. He's going to be out in the dirt again. I guess out in the grass, rather. And he's going to almost loop it and lose all that ground he just made up. So McKeevoy struggling as Kolb drives away.
Yeah, he charged the corner in too hard. Had to get on the brakes and it just sent the car all sorts of sideways.
Richard Hines has pulled it off the racetrack. I think he's done for the night, unfortunately. So that leaves McKeevoy as the only driver left to be eliminated. It's right now Nick Miller is out for the night. Richard Hines will be out for the night. Jordan McKeevoy is trying to fight his way back in at Justin Kolb's expense. It's a 3.3 second gap.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you look off the back bumper of McKeevoy, you'll see a yellow 54 that's closing into lap.
Well, a blue and white 54.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But yes, Grunberg is coming to put the 21 a lap down. McKeevoy's really got to make up a lot of time. Again, he's really struggling through the wide dirt sector here. Is that technically turn 1? I don't even know what the corner numbers are here.
To be honest, I don't even.
I don't even know what end of the racetrack. I think that one gantry on the long straight is the start-finish line, but I don't even know.
Yeah, that is the start-finish line down there, but I don't know if you'd count it from the start or from the finish line. I would think of the finish line because that's where the laps get scored. So I'm with you. I really don't know.
But either way, the long right-hander is what McKeevoy's been struggling with the last couple laps, and Matt Grunberg is coming up. But Sam Close has been a lot quicker than Grunberg the last couple laps and has actually been really a minute. The gap is 3.1, 2.6 now as they enter the jump sector, but a minute left where he should be coming to 2 to go, I would imagine. Yes, 2 to go. Oh, Grunberg's off. He's off the course.
Yeah, he's off the course, but I'm just going to get right back on. But here comes Sam Close trying to fight it out. And not really anything that they need to fight for. Qualifying will be a separate session for the main event. So really all this is just for determining who gets in or not. So
yeah, so Grunberg is going to swing into the far part of the course. And there is Jordan McKeevoy, who is struggling to make up ground on Justin Kolb. Kolb is now 4.6 seconds up the road. And Kolb saved himself. I mean, he was in a really bad position, but got himself rolling a lot quicker than McKeevoy was able to. And what really sealed the deal on McKeevoy was, remember when he got rolling, he spun out again. And that's really what threw him off and kind of sealed the deal on his fate. Should be white flag this time by lap 18 of 18. After we've completed 15 minutes of racing, white flag in the air for Matt Grunberg. Sam Close is closing, but I don't know if he's close enough to steal a little heat victory away from Grunberg.
Unless McKeevoy makes a mistake and that holds up Grunberg, I don't think you'll be able to catch him, but anything's possible here.
Back onto the main course through NASCAR Turn 4A, and Grunberg is looking for a heat victory. Of course, this doesn't mean a whole lot. The only gap we're really concerned about is who is in 8th. That's the final transfer spot as Justin Kolb comes across the line. He's got one more lap to go as Grunberg crests the hill. And he's going to pick himself up a checkered flag in the heat. Sam Close, Tate Lytle. That's your top 3 as Lytle takes the jump. But for Kolb, he's got to make mistake-free last half of a lap. McKeevoy 4.7 behind, and that one mistake that ended up kind of becoming 2, and there it is. That's it. Deal sealed. Justin Kolb is 3 corners away from transferring to the main event by the skin of his teeth as they come on through. How about McCorkle? After the mistakes he made early on, he's managed to steal a 6th place result. And across the line, Kolb is in the feature, and Jordan McKeevoy is going to be eliminated and will not be able to continue toward the feature tonight, along with Richard Hines and Nick Miller. All right, Heat 1 is complete. Here's a look at your race results, Finian. Top 8 transfer, that means Kolb and up get to move on to the 25-minute feature later tonight.
Yeah, really unfortunate for McCorkle, but I'm sorry, not McCorkle. Keep saying McCorkle, McKeevoy. Unfortunate for McKeevoy that he won't be able to make it through. Was looking really good in the first part of this race, but that mistake was just so costly and wasn't able to get back to get himself back in the transfer spot.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of this in race Heat 2 as well. That's coming up in just a couple minutes. So stay with us. We'll be right back. 8 more trucks vying for a spot in the 25-minute feature. We'll be back in just a moment. driving is just a mundane task between point A and point B. Nothing more. It's the frustration of traffic at 8 a.m. The feeling of sickness on a long ride. The car? Just a tool. It's supposed to be practical, reliable, and fast. But the speed is really the reason cars exist. Born out of a necessity to make that A to B trip just a little bit faster. Some have a deeper connection with cars. Found somewhere in the bond of man and machine, a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. It's the extension of mind and body to something more exciting than just another appliance. And these people never cared about practicality or reliability. To them, the only thing that matters is speed. We're born with a competitive nature, part of a biological necessity that is not yet worn off with time. People have raced for thousands of years, and that competition has transcended history and found its way to the industrial age. Railroads raced to build across the country, replacing the horses whose strength is still used as a benchmark for power today. And as personal vehicles became popular, the railroads died off. What once was the quickest way across the country became snail's pace in comparison. The interstate highway system expanded and cars populated every driveway. And the competition between types of transport quickly transitioned into the race to have the fastest car. Bragging rights. Manufacturers like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW emerged in auto racing, each trying to one-up the other. Building engines became an arms race. Who could build the fastest dinosaur-powered Land? So while the passion for cars has died for most, there are still people that are fascinated by racing. The sights, the sounds, the smell of burning rubber and spent race fuel lingering in the air. This is what attracts us to the sport of auto racing. We are empowered by drivers that climb in impossibly fast cars and put everything on the line for the sake of competition. Drivers who know that one slip-up can lead to disaster. And for the longest time, wishing to be a race car driver was just a childhood dream. All we could ever be was a spectator. Opportunities? Limited and expensive. Reserved only for the who's who of the racing world. Until now. Welcome back to Sonoma Raceway. My name is Kyle Heyer alongside Finney and Acuna for the YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour round number 15. Finney, and this has been pretty wild so far. I think we expected to see a lot of mistakes be made, and honestly there were. But expectations for Heat 2, now that the drivers have seen how the racing looks and what corner is treacherous, and namely that right-hander heading up what is the road course turn 5, do they have an advantage being the second cars out?
Honestly, not really so much. I think it's pretty much the same. If anything, I feel like they're at a little bit of a disadvantage because, again, these guys' last race was 18 laps, which is quite a lot on dirt. I mean, most rally cross races don't even go that long. And they're in purpose-built machinery. These guys are just hacking at the wheels, trying to get these trucks to rotate for a while. I imagine that they might feel just a little bit fatigued, and these guys are going to have to immediately go into the main event. So I think they're at a slight disadvantage compared to the guys in Heat 1.
Interesting. Thoughts on the racetrack, and were you surprised to see the track wear in the way that it did in the dirt right-hander? I was surprised to see drivers hugging the outside of the turn rather than the inside. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised as well. You know, you wouldn't think that would make much of a difference for these guys, and I don't think there's enough dirt to really pile up on the side like that. But it seems like guys are going for it, but it's, I think, risk versus benefit there, because you're run so far to that outside, it's very easy, and we've seen this happen. Guys getting their tires in the grass and just losing all sorts of traction.
So we're running on board with Austin Derbyshire as he makes his way around the racetrack right now, and right now the dirt is fresh and it's very grippy, but as the race goes on, it seems like it decreases in grip very, very, very quickly, especially on the outside of the corner here. Dave Hunt, last driver to get into the server, although we might have to jump the break real quick just because Marquise Smith, his name is not loaded in, and we got to restart ATVO with it. I can probably do it without doing that, actually, so let's do that now. Ignore that. We're just working on getting Marquise Smith's name on here, driving the truck that normally Mike Stevens would be in. And again, so 15 minutes. That was a long heat race, Finney. I don't think I expected it to really almost run 20 laps, but the event is 25 minutes. Do you think the conditions at the end of the feature will be significantly worse than the end of the heats?
Yeah, I think it will be, because a lot of the dirt that these guys are running on, for the most, really the racing line, it's pretty much going to get cleaned off. So I think a lot of guys will be struggling for grip later on, which should lead to some interesting stuff with a lot of guys going off the track, similar to what we saw in the first heat.
All right, so Smith's name is now showing up on the ticker, and that's just for future reference. If the name ever doesn't show up, it's just a glitch with the timing and scoring software. When you use the last name tag, if we load in before the driver does, their name doesn't show up, and we beat Smith here. But now we got it all sorted out. So this one, 8 drivers have entered, Finney. I don't think there's any more, so everyone should be able to transfer here as Marquise Smith goes off the course. Kyle Hanshaw, though, this is a guy I would firmly expect to be a competitor to win tonight. Dirt, he's excellent at it. Maybe not the road courses, but I expect him to be very, very fast.
Yeah, you would think so. We'll have to see here. He's kind of low on the timesheets, but we'll let these guys get a few laps to get up to speed and see really what he's made out of. But yeah, you would think that he would be pretty good, you know, being so good at the dirt stuff, but this is kind of almost a different animal.
Rusty Capel, one of the drivers that's fighting for a playoff spot. You see right there, the cut line, he's +2. As he clobbers a tire barrier, this is a very important night for him as we get closer and closer to the playoff cut line and heading into the playoffs in this fall. That 9 truck has had a lot of bad luck. As you see, ooh, that was big contact for Kyle Hanshaw and Austin Derbyshire as Derbyshire left the pits, and this is kind of why they don't have active pit roads on these sorts of racetracks.
Yeah, I was going to say, you go right into the racing line where guys can't see you coming out of the pits. So yeah, thankfully that isn't a thing.
And here's the view from Austin Derbyshire, clobbered out of the pits, unsuspecting there. Let's ride on board with Levi Zielinski on the gyro cam and just watch the handwork going on inside this truck right now. A lot of hacking and sawing at the wheel. It's really not super smooth like you typically see on a road course, and it's more akin to just driving on dirt, but all the time. Trying to get that truck, and you see Zielinski had the wheel almost locked and was applying power and still couldn't get it to rotate. So these trucks seem like they're rotating a lot more on the brakes. So as a driver, you got that much brake sensitivity. If you want to brake and not spin yourself out, how do you do that effectively?
Really, you just got to kind of have these trucks pointed as straight as you can, because we saw, I think that was also what caught McKeeway out, is that he was braking while he was turning, and the front brakes locked up, the back end still had momentum, and around he went. So you want to be going as straight as you can going to these corners without turning in too much, otherwise you can loop it very easily.
So Zielinski working his way around the course. 2 minutes left in the warm-up session here at Sonoma Rallycross, and Corey Lindsay out on course in his 00.
Yeah, and Austin Derbyshire at the top of the sheets. Not too surprised at that. I've seen Derbyshire around in Rallycross races on an official session, so I know that he's definitely got the experience here, and it's definitely showing as he's 2/10 clear of Zielinski.
Yeah, this is maybe not a driver that I would have expected to run well here, but I didn't know that he had the Rallycross experience, and that is certainly going to help. It's a totally different beast, but, you know, at least knowledge of the racetrack and its, you know, idiosyncrasies is going to be good for the 66 tonight. We're riding on board with him to see how he's attacking a lot smoother than Zielinski, and did get the truck sideways. But then taking the right-hander up the hill, got the truck sideways, hang out the rear deck, aim for the cone on the inside, aim for the next cone on the inside, then the tire barrier. Wow. I think Derbyshire might win this whole event tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can pretty much see this the way he's running it. He's a lot more in control of his truck and knows where he wants to point and how to point it. That comes with a lot of experience with Rallycross.
Wow, I just watching him, the apexes of these corners you have to hit with the nose of the truck, and he's doing that in such a good job, and honestly better than Matt Grunberg was in the first heat. So I'd say if I was Grunberg, if I was Sam Close, I'd be watching out for this 66. And I believe he's on the outside looking in for the playoffs. So
by 8 points.
This could be a good night for him if he could gather a bunch of points on drivers near the cut line like Rusty Capel that aren't doing so well. This could be a big, big night for the 66.
Yeah, he'll definitely overtake Richard Hines, who we saw didn't qualify in the last session, and Hines is ahead of him in points. So Derbyshire, if he can continue his performance up, he's set for a really good points finish tonight, which could thrust him into the playoffs.
And continuing to practice here as warm-up completes. Getting ready for the second of 2 heats. 15 minutes is what we're racing for here. Top 8 will transfer. The good news is there's only 8 drivers here, so everyone here is going to transfer. And we head to Myrtle Beach next week, and then we head to Atlanta. Talladega, Coda, Knoxville, Five Flags, and Homestead. So we're really running out of races this season, but we go short track racing again next week. Actually, 2 weeks from now. And that is kind of where these trucks have belonged most of the time, but this is a welcome departure from the normalcies of most oval racing leagues. So I'm glad to see them trying this, and you know, it hasn't gotten amazing participation. These guys usually pull near 30 trucks, not that tonight, but you know, it's good to see the schedule getting mixed up. And Coda coming up. Remember how good that race was last year? I'm excited for that one as well.
Yeah, it's another one. Some really great tracks coming up on the schedule, and you've been to quite a few of them already. So the entire summer has been quite a few good tracks for the Truck Series. Really good lineup this season.
Yeah, I've been very pleasantly surprised early in the season with the schedule, as well as later part of the schedule, and even Knoxville coming up. That'll be a fun one. Talladega, of course, is always good in the trucks. But as we come over the crest of the hill, green flag flies, racing for Heat 2 here at Sonoma. Levi Zielinski pulls away. Corey Lindsay gets second place away from Derbyshire, but that 66 is looking really strong. And Handshot chucking the truck into the corner.
Oh, Zielinski off the track.
Oh, Zielinski off the road. And he's going to lose in 1 spot, maybe 2. Handshot maintains 5th as they climb the hill.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I was looking at the way he entered that corner. I thought there was pretty much no way you can make it normally, and there he's in second, trying to get it back, though, from Corey Lindsay.
Lindsay slides off back onto the pavement. Handshot, oh, Capel's out wide. He's going to hit the concrete wall, and that's going to leave the opening for Handshot to sneak up to the bumper. And Capel's going to pull off to the right. He's going to let 2 trucks by.
Wow.
And look at Marquis Smith, and he's off the course off the edge of the curb.
Yeah, went a little bit too opportunistic in that corner.
Dave Hunt trying to take advantage of it now. And here comes Jonathan Cogswell. Spin out in front. Zielinski in the fence, down in the first corner. He'll back it up and slide all the way to the back of the pack. And didn't see what happened. Here's a look. He was already sideways coming into the corner.
Yeah, he got sideways just under braking.
Yeah, again, locked up the brakes, trying not to run into Corey Lindsay. Slid around, and he's just going to knock over this barrier. He'll get back rolling again, albeit down in 8th place.
And Derbyshire and Corey Lindsay up ahead fighting for the lead.
Behind him, Cogswell and Dave Hunt got together coming out back onto the pavement, and they're still making contact as they rejoin the pavement racetrack.
Pick up themselves in order for now.
Up front, though, I'm watching Corey Lindsay and I'm watching Derbyshire as Derbyshire closes in. It's a 0.2 of a second gap, and here comes a 66.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a way around. Again, this particular section very one lane, but Derbyshire are going to try to get a lane here as they rejoin the asphalt.
Oh,
And
Lindsay
cuts him off.
bouncing over the bumps on the dirt, and Derbyshire took a look. Now he's going to head to the inside on corner exit, and he's going to have a really good run into the final corner heading to the jump, but he's going to back up, maybe try to set up the 0-0 for the main straight. And trying to get the throttle to the ground when you're spinning and sliding. How difficult is that, Finney, especially with all the torque these cars have? And remember, rallycross cars are all-wheel drive. These things are rear-wheel.
Yeah. I was going to say, in a rallycross car, you can pretty much put the pedal to the floor. These things, you got to feather it a little bit. Also, make sure you're lined up straight. Here comes Derbyshire on the inside for the lead.
Ooh, clips the tire barrier on the inside. I think everyone doesn't have to bother avoiding it because it stays offline. But around the outside comes Derbyshire. A strong power move to the lead.
Yeah, fantastic pass there. So Derbyshire will now take the lead ahead from Lindsay. And Lindsay, I'm actually surprised he's doing a great job in second.
I imagine some practice was put in for the Blurry Motorsports guys. And behind, that's Kyle Hanshaw up in 3rd and Marquis Smith.
Oh, Zielinski all the way back in 8th again.
Is there another spin involved for the 6th?
Yeah, right before the jump on lap 3.
He actually just spun out again. We're going to take a look at that replay. Clipped the tire barrier coming back onto the asphalt. And is way, way down the order now, and thankfully for him, he's not going to have to worry about getting eliminated. But Derbyshire out front. Marquis Smith goes to 3rd as Hanshaw runs off the course a little bit and gets off the dirt.
Yeah, I should have to correct myself from what I said earlier in race 1. These guys are fighting, at least the top 5 are fighting for some points at stake. A winner gets 5 points all the way down to 1 point for 5th place.
Hanshaw just dumped Marquis Smith out of the corner returning to the asphalt, and Hanshaw's going to take 3rd back away, so an aggressive move for a podium spot, and Smith gets knocked out of the groove.
Yeah, well, Smith gets it collected rather quickly, and he's gonna. Oh, now Hanshaw's gone off.
Taking a look, jumping back live to not miss anything. Hanshaw off the course, but again, there was that contact out of the final corner, which we do want to go back and take a look at. And here it is. Yeah, just got in there a little too hot, spun out the 63, and Marquis Smith did a really good job recovering. I believe it's his first 3-wide event. As Hanshaw runs out wide again, he's in the grass. Capel and Cogswell trading spots. Capel slips back to 6th, Cogswell up to 5th, and Capel's off course again.
Yeah, he's just not been having a good time, so Cogswell's going to easily take 5th away and drive off into the distance while Capel's still struggling to get a handle.
About a 1/3 of the way through this race in terms of laps complete. 6 of 18 estimated. Out front, Austin Derbyshire putting in some really good lap times. I want to keep an eye on these lap times, though, because remember, Grunberg ran a 47 at one point, and I'm curious to see if Derbyshire can do that as well.
Yeah, so far, Derbyshire's fastest lap is a 49.5.
And Corey Lindsay running pretty decent lap times, as is Marquis Smith, a 49.48.
Yeah,
last time
he might be a sleeper here tonight. That's his fastest lap time in the race so far, and even he's also moved up the grid pretty quickly.
It's a great looking truck too, and some bright magenta or pink roll bars on the inside. It's easy to spot. So he actually was the quickest truck on the racetrack last time through. Levi Zielinski has taken over 7th place from Rusty Capel, who is in the pits, and that race is over for him, and I'm not exactly sure how long he's been there. Found it. I think he just decided to essentially peel off. Oh, no, he did spin out, and oh, man, he's going to impale himself between the barriers right at the gantry. and that is why he had retired. And spun out, getting back onto the pavement. And there goes the engine for the 9.
Yeah, speaking of spinning out, Hanshaw, oh, actually, I think I might have spoken too soon. It looked like he almost just spun out twice, trying to get this truck up to speed. Cogswell is catching up to him now.
Oh, he's out really sideways again, trying to hang on. Remember, he's really a dirt professional, but I don't think the success on the road courses has been there for the 46. And I think we're seeing maybe the road course experience coming in perhaps a bit more than the dirt side of things. But clearly, if you've done rallycross, you're going to be good tonight. Dave Hunt, Levi Zielinski trading spots. Zielinski gets by.
Oh, Hanshaw into the barrier again.
He's way outside the racetrack.
Yeah, he's been really struggling at this final corner here. It just has not been able to get the slow down in time. And it's a very misleading corner in these trucks because you think you could brake down for it, but the brakes on these things not that good considering they're dirt cars.
Yeah, he just got the rears locked up and got himself in the barrier, slid out over the edge, and drops back down to 5th as Cogswell runs 4th quick. The lap time's definitely not as quick as the first race, and I didn't check the conditions in the first race, so I don't really know how much they changed, but I don't think dirt is quite as sensitive to as asphalt is to the temperature changes, and I assume they're set up identically. So, Hanshaw wide, he's going to just make slight contact with the concrete, and he seems to be struggling a lot right now. Making the right-hander back onto the jump. And this has been surprisingly clean over the jumps. We haven't really seen a whole lot of mistakes here, partially because they don't really have a whole lot of speed going up and over them.
Yeah, I think that's really the big thing about it, is that these guys are slowing down so much for just to make the corner before, and by the time they even try to get up to speed, they're barely doing anything to jump over the jump. So, yeah, I don't think that has been a lot of a problem. Might be more in the main event when we have more trucks on the grid.
Yeah, you see Hanshaw desperately hacking at the wheel to try to get any grip out of it that he can, and he's really hanging it out sideways through the middle sector of the course. And I think we're seeing that track kind of wear out in the dirt right-hander, and what's causing that is the repeated use of the same line over and over, and that's where drivers want to run, but they can't because there's no grip there, and they keep sliding off course. We saw that in Heat 1 as well as in Heat 2, and look at Marquise Smith running out wide, but he has caught Corey Lindsay.
Yeah, battle for second going on. And again, when you're talking about Marquise Smith, definitely have to keep much more of an eye on him as he's trying to make a pass on Corey Lindsay.
And Mahone Designs on that quarter panel. That is a really pretty truck. I'm a big fan of purple in any race car, and to the inside of the 00 he goes, and Lindsay's going to leave him room. Side by side for a moment. I think Smith is going to win this battle, but time will tell. On the brakes, very slow, methodical for Corey Lindsay, but he's really too sideways there as Marquise Smith gets a much better run. I think Smith will have a run down here into turn 1.
Yeah, this will be an interesting point of turn. Maybe pass on the outside, a lot more difficult than on the inside. And now we see Smith setting up the corner barrier. Lindsay going to charge it and go wide.
And Smith's going to charge up the inside. He'll take the spot away, move himself into second place. The 63 on a run up the order. Lindsay back to third, and you mentioned it earlier, how you were surprised at the 00 and how well he was running. I'm surprised too. This is not something that you expect really any driver to be good at, and it looks like Corey Lindsay kind of has this figured out. Maybe not quite as well as Smith, Derbyshire, closed in Grunberg, but he'll still probably be a top 5, top 10 car.
Yeah, and I think the really thing for him has just been consistency. Oh, and as I say that, Smith is spinning sideways. Lindsay trying to avoid it. Wow.
Lindsay did a great job getting on the binders to miss that.
Oh, uh-oh. And I think Smith just missed the jump, and that's going to be a black flag. We'll see if he'll get that cleared.
There's another look at the slide, and just got on the brakes. This looked a lot like what Hanshaw's been doing. Yeah, you're going to see him miss the jump here. And that will be I think it's a slowdown penalty is what they give you for that?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you get a cut course for passing the jump, so we'll see.
3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Derbyshire's got the top spot by 11 seconds because of the mishap with Lindsay and Marquise Smith the last time through. But he still hasn't run anything better than a 49.5. So jury's still out on whether he can compete with drivers like Matt Gruenberg. Lindsay runs second, Marquis Smith third, but I think Smith is quicker overall. Just that one mistake put him on his back foot. And through the dirt.
Both these guys grasping at straws. You can really see that line. That line has really worn itself out.
0.3 of a second between them. Look at Smith close up. Big closing the gap. They return to the pavement here, and Lindsay's going to lock up the rear brakes. We've seen the rears lock up a lot before the fronts. Maybe a brake bias adjustment would help that. Dave Hunt, Kyle Hanshaw separated out by 13.89 seconds. As Hunt is really struggling right now. Hanshaw not really enjoying himself out there either in that 46.
Yeah, well, at least on the bright side again, doesn't have to worry about getting eliminated. We'll make it on to the second race, the main race. But you know, that's going to be tough though, because they're going to be getting with
Corey
a lot
Lindsay,
of guys.
Lindsay's spun around, and he's going to drop down from second to third, and Cogswell's going to take the hard right and drop that 00 down to fourth with 2 minutes to go.
Oh, yeah, Lindsay just charged way too hard into the corner and overshot it.
Up front, Derbyshire. He's leading by 15 seconds. He slips around Dave Hunt in the 53 and puts himself even farther ahead of second place Marquis Smith. But look at Smith's truck. It's spotless, other than a slight dent on the right rear. And the left rear for that matter, but the front of it, at least, is spotless. He's taking care of that thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, pretty much the rears are going to just get damaged by these trucks slamming the ground when they get back over the jump. So, but yeah, it's done a great job. Really, like you're saying, the front part's clean. That's really the big thing, because it hasn't really hit anything, especially those tire barriers, because, man, let me tell you, those things are a pain.
No, they're pretty soft, but they're really, really heavy, and
yeah,
they don't really damage the truck as much as they do just slow it down, and they're very irritating to run into.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very irritating when, especially when other people hit them onto the track, and it's pretty much an obstacle you have to avoid in the middle of the track.
2 laps to go here at Sonoma Rallycross, the YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour, as we head towards the playoffs. Derbyshire, remember, on the outside looking in, this could be a huge night for him in the points if he could just continue what he's doing and take this performance to the feature event. Marquis Smith running in second, his first start that we know of in 3-wide competition in that 63. And running right now in second, and he hasn't been able to catch Derbyshire, but his best lap time is actually quicker than the 66's.
Yeah, which is surprising. Definitely something you have to keep an eye on. I'm actually just looking at Derbyshire's times too. He's running at almost 2 seconds slower than his fastest lap, so a decent amount of fall off here.
A lot of fall off, mostly due to the track conditions more so than the tires. White flag in the air here at Sonoma. Final 49 seconds for Derbyshire, Smith, Cogswell, Lindsay, Zielinski, Hanshaw, and Hunt. And Rusty Capel scored as out. And Cogswell in the 27. How about this? We haven't really talked about him a whole lot tonight, but he's been pretty consistent in that 27. Hasn't really made a whole lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
A whole lot less than the drivers around him.
Yeah, started in 8th and is up into 3rd, so good movement up the grid for the 27. We'll see how he kind of matches up, and this is really the big thing to see how everyone matches up with each other in by the main event. I definitely think Gruberg's going to be the guy to beat, but who knows? He could be in for a surprise.
Austin Derbyshire rounds the final corner. He's going to collect a checkered flag in heat number 2. I'm really curious to see where that truck's going to line up for the main event. Marquis Smith, a very, very well done first appearance for the 63. Up and over the jump underneath the gantry, and he'll collect a checkered flag. Jonathan Cogswell. Slow and steady maybe didn't win the race, but it certainly is going to get him a podium. And you see right behind him Corey Lindsay, who made a couple mistakes tonight, but will come home with a 4th place result.
Yeah, and how about Zielinski coming back all the way up in the 5th after the trouble he went through in the first part of this race?
Contact with Corey Lindsay there across the line. Kyle Hanshaw really seemed to struggle quite a bit in the latter half of this race. Did really well when the track was gripped up, but as soon as it lost grip, he's been struggling quite a bit. So he's going to come around the final corner, up over the jump. He's in the feature, as is everyone here, but it's going to be a struggle for the 46 tonight. Underneath the gantry, checkered flag in the air. And here is your heat results from heat number 2. Derbyshire, really impressive, Finney, and I'm very excited to see how he'll do in the feature. All right, in just a moment, we're going to take another short break, and then we're going to jump over to the main event, a 25-minute race, which is going to be, what do you think, another about 10 laps or so on top? Maybe
yeah, I was going to say,
15?
I think we might be getting pretty close to 30 laps in length, somewhere around there.
Compared to about the 18 that we ran for the heat. So that's what's going to be coming up in just a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few. Stay with us. welcome back to SimTV. Holding short here before the full event tonight because we had a driver join that didn't actually compete in a heat, so therefore we need to restart the session. So I guess hold tight for a couple minutes while we get that next server booted up here. Finian, expectations for the night, though, I think Eisenman's going to be strong, as is Grunberg, but what about that 66 maybe stealing a victory?
I think I'll be, we were talking about earlier, before we went back live, that it would be a huge upset if you could. I definitely think if anyone's got the pace to do it, I definitely think that it would be Derbyshire, and I'm kind of pulling for him in a way, too, because it'll be nice to see him get a win. Usually don't see him up fighting for wins week in, week out a few times in here, but I think a win would do great wonders for him in this series.
All right, so we're going to jump right back to break and load into the next session, so sorry about that. Mishap there for the server, so we will restart in just a moment. Stay with us again. Go get yourself a Sunday or a Klondike bar. We'll be back. Welcome back live to Sim TV. My name is Kyle Heyer alongside Vinny Nakuna, and it's time to go racing here at Sonoma Rallycross course for the round 15 of the YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour for 2019. The playoffs are looming. We had 2 heat races for 15 minutes to determine the 16 starters for the race. Austin Derbyshire right now finishing quickest in the warm-up. Expectations for the race.
Expectations, I don't know. I think that 54 is going to be the one I have to keep an eye on, but I mean, the 66 and the 63 of Derbyshire and Smith, respectively, those guys could really seem like they might upset the field tonight.
Qualifying also for 5 minutes. Who you got for pole? I mean, I'm looking squarely at maybe the 77 or the 54 for the pole, and I think it's a very, very important position to have if you want to have a chance to win this race.
Yeah, really, track position is going to be incredibly key, especially because we're doing a rolling start and not a standing start. With a standing start, these guys are a lot closer together. You can kind of muscle your way through the traffic, but with a rolling start, you're already kind of separated by the time you're getting to the green flag. So it's definitely going to be very key, especially with 8 rows of drivers.
Qualifying underway. Matt Hackathorn out on the racetrack right now in that number 44. And he's rolling, as well as Cody McCorkle in the 12, who had a reasonably decent heat race after not having a great start. So that truck is spotlessly clean right now, and there he goes driving through the dirt to make it all dirty, waiting for the 54, Matt Grunberg, to hit the racetrack. He has not as of yet. Dave Hunt in the 53 out on course as well. Didn't have a great heat race, but was in heat 2, which all drivers transferred. And Robert Hill Jr., one of those drivers fighting for a playoff position as we come in to Sonoma. This is a make-or-break race for him because Austin Derbyshire is also behind the cutoff line, and he could very well get himself in the playoffs tonight alone.
Yeah, especially too considering one of the bigger names that didn't make it into this race is Rusty Capel. Or sorry, not Rusty Capel, Richard Hines that didn't make it in. So he's not going to be able to get really much points other than 17th, which is what all the guys that did make it in got. So guys behind him have a shot like Robert Hill Jr. to get themselves inside the playoff picture.
Derbyshire climbs up the hill on his time lap. Levi Zielinski goes quickest. He made a couple mistakes in his heat race. Needs to turn things around for himself, Finney, and he's had a lot of bad luck all this year. I know he's had some decent finishes lately, but he can get bumped off the board by Sam Close in the 3WideRacing number 5. Close, remember, he ran second to Grunberg and only by a couple seconds, so he's also a threat to win.
Yeah, Grunberg waiting to put a time down. I'm actually kind of curious if he's going to do his usual thing and not qualify at all.
That's a risky move here, especially considering a lot of the drivers behind him might actually be quick enough to beat him tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you should, because by the time, like you're saying, by the time he gets to the guys up ahead, they're going to be pretty much long gone, and traffic's going to be a big problem for guys in the back. So we'll see if he does decide to put down a time, although, again, you don't have much time to go, so he needs to go now if he wants to get a time in.
Drew Eisenman across the line. He'll go quickest with a 47.0. That's the quickest time we've seen by 0.3 of a second over Sam Close's 47.4. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say Derbyshire, his time, it's only going to put him in 7th.
Interesting, so a 48.4. Now, that is quicker than we've seen him run all night, but I think his race pace will be better as the end of the race goes on. Hanshaw into the fence, but he goes 11th quick. Tate Lytle out on track now in his number 56. He ran 3rd, I believe, in his heat race number 1. But I think his expectation is very high. And remember, he is not really... he was on the playoff bubble last week at Richmond, but he did not compete there. And so he's dropped farther down the order. So to get himself into the playoffs now is a little bit of a stretch, but having a good run here tonight would certainly put him in the right direction.
And on through comes Tate Lytle. Looks like his first lap didn't count. So 56 trying to get his second lap in. Oh, no, he's going to go around, and that's going to put him in the back.
Well, you know who else is qualifying right now is Matt Grunberg with 1 minute and 17 seconds left.
He really waited for the last second.
He certainly did. Let's ride on board the gyro cam here for at least the first half of the lap as we head up over the jump into the start-finish line. He's only going to have about 13 seconds to spare. He's going to come across the line with 1 minute left.
He's going to barely have enough time to put a lap in. If he makes a mistake and gets contact, gets lost of control by spinning out, it's going to be a long night for that 54.
Climbing the hill, then back down. A lot of elevation here at Sonoma, then swinging back to the left. You also can't hit any of those tire barriers. and then back onto the asphalt course. Nice clean line so far. Oh, no!
No, there he is.
Big impact. And
that's going to keep him out of it.
Yeah, that's going to put him at the rear of the pack. So, you know, this is big, because he was the one that just completely drove away, along with Sam Close from the Heat 1 drivers. And with one little mistake, he's really put himself in a deep hole for the start of the race. So Matt Grunberg will start towards the rear of the pack tonight. Qualifiers mean that Drew Eisenman is going to start on pole in front of Sam Close. What a lap by Drew Eisenman.
Yeah, almost 47 flat for the 77. Yeah, so he's going to be sitting really pretty on the grid. Guys like Matt Grunberg, even Marquez Smith, dude, didn't make an attempt for a lap. He's going to be starting back, and Lytle will be rounding out the field.
So the field waiting to take the green here. Of course, we'll line ourselves up at the jump, and there is your field. And that's a lot. We should have done a standing start. That would have been a lot of fun here.
I don't think the drivers would agree that was a lot of fun. I think a lot of guys would have got put in the wall.
Well, the drivers at the front would have liked it, I imagine.
They might have, unless someone behind them didn't get slowed down and clobbers them, so...
Starting lineup along the bottom of the screen. We don't have a whole lot of time to show it, so we're going to show it quickly. Sam Close waiting in the 5 to take the grid. But, again, he ran second all night, and I think he's hungry to get himself a victory. Hackathorn with a strong qualifying result in 4th. We'll see if he can run that high up the grid. Zielinski trying to turn his bad luck around Cogswell, and Cogswell ran pretty well in his heat number 2 as well. Was very consistent, maybe not the quickest truck out there, but pretty decent. The 63 of Marquis Smith really did not qualify very well, considering his pace.
He didn't qualify at all.
Oh, well, that would explain that. All right, so we've got some adjusted expectations for drivers like Matt Grunberg. He's got to go through 15 other drivers in approximately 32 laps. That's what we're looking at for this race. Approximately 47, 48 seconds a lap. That's for 25 minutes. That's a lot of laps here. A lot of opportunity for mistakes, and trust me, the track is going to get worn out very, very quickly. It's going to be slippery out there. So our pace lap begins here. We'll get them lined up and ready to go racing. And everyone try to get organized into discrete lines, just like a normal oval race. Matt Grunberg starting towards the tail of the field. There's a lot of trucks in front of him. This is going to be a very, very sketchy first lap. He's got to avoid incidents as well. One spin is going to take you out. I don't think you're going to have all 14 cars slip out in front of you, so you better not make a mistake if you're at the back. Green flag in the air, 25 minutes of racing here at Sonoma.
Yep, and I just heard someone hit the wall. Oh, and that Hackathorn's around on the straightaway.
Oh, already for Hackathorn, a mistake. Robert Hill Jr. I heard sliding off the course as well. Dave Hunt off the track, as is the 46 of Kyle Hanshaw, but the 44 of Hackathorn is reset. That might be night over for him. What happened on the initial start here?
He hit the veranda, I think, coming to the green.
Trying to find... Yeah, he did actually clip the concrete wall, so he is reset to the pits. Meanwhile, there's lots of action. Austin Darbyshire up to 4th. He started 7th. This is a strong start for that 66 truck.
Yeah, he's already moved up to the front, but speaking of the front close, looking like he was almost about to take position.
Cogswell's off. Cogswell's off the racetrack. He's done as well. DNF's left and right. Big mistakes for Hackathorn and Cogswell on the first opening lap here. Marquis Smith in that number 63. He ran his heat race very, very clean. Sits 12th right now. Meanwhile, Robert Hill Jr. and Cody McCorkle fighting for 7th as they climb the hill.
Yeah, they're fighting for 7th. And how about Grunberg up into 6th?
I don't even understand how you do that.
Honestly, I don't know either, but he's up the grid in a hurry and actually about to take 5th away from Justin Cope.
Riding on board with the 54 as we come to complete lap 2 already. That's how quickly things move. He's up 7 spots in a lap and a half. Very, very impressive. See Darbyshire up the road there trying to close the gap on 3rd place. Levi Zielinski. Kolb runs a touch wide entering the jump, and Grunberg is coming.
Yep, and there he's going to the outside. Kolb going defensive into turn number 1.
And Grunberg's going to easily cross him over.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent job there. And here comes Hill Jr. to take over Cope's spot.
Hill is just gonna power on by. Ooh, he goes a little bit off the track. Keep it going. Oh, he's gonna go sliding off the track.
Oh, big impact into the tire barrier.
Yeah, that truck's done. He's smoking. He's hit that pretty good on the right front.
Yeah, big slide for the 38. Meanwhile, I was watching a battle for second. Sam Close and Levi Zielinski getting close together. Eisenman trying to get a slight advantage, 1.5 seconds. As battle for the top three. These front three have really broken away.
Yeah, they really have. Darbyshire trying to keep up with him, and now he's almost under attack from Grunberg.
Oh, Tate Lytle was off the course sideways in the background, but he's regained control. Grunberg going for 4th place already. I didn't think it was possible to climb up the order this quickly, but we know how Matt is.
Yeah, never count the 54 out, apparently, no matter what sort of track we're going to. Is I think what we're learning here is he's just gotten past Austin Darbyshire for 4th place. Now we'll set his sights on 3rd for Zielinski up ahead.
Marquis Smith has just gotten around Corey Lindsay for 10th place, and there is some damage on that 63's nose, and we didn't have that the last time we saw this 63, so he's been in the back of somebody. Up the road, McCorkle and Tate Lytle, they're side by side for 7th, really close together as they come to the final corner.
Oh, McCorkle tries to throw it in there. He's going to slam into the tire barriers.
Mistake there for the 12, and Lytle will get the spot. Robert Hill Jr. pulls off the racetrack, presumably done for the night. Half a second between Close and Zielinski, though. This battle for second still heating up, and Grunberg is closing from behind. Oh, no, Zielinski. The same mistake he made in his heat race, he made again. Into the tire barriers on the far side of the course.
Yeah, does a spin, does a 360 and gets it back going, but Grunberg's now just closed up in behind him. This is going to make Grunberg's life a lot easier.
It sure will. Grunberg still has 6 seconds to make up. Do you think he can make up 6 seconds? It's a lot of time to make up in 20 minutes, but he's flying right now.
Yeah, I'm actually just kind of looking at these guys' lap times. The leader ran a 49.1.
McCorkle spun around again, same spot as last lap. And same exact mistake. Missed the barrier that time, but spun it around.
Yeah, so Eisenman ran a 49.1 last lap through, and then to Grunberg's 48.6. So at the rate he's going, he'll catch in about 12 laps.
Wow, that's really impressive. Marquis Smith still has 10th, but he's closing in on McCorkle for 9th. A lot of damage to the nose at 63, but I don't think aero even matters at all. You could probably attach a sail to the roof of the truck, and it probably wouldn't matter a whole lot.
Ooh, Eisenman with an ugly last corner. That's allowed Sam Close to catch up to him quite a bit.
Yeah, these guys have to be concerned about who's running behind him. You see Levi Zielinski under attack from Grunberg in the background. I don't think this 6 truck can hold off the 54 for too long as Grunberg chucks it to the inside. Meanwhile, for the lead, Close makes a mistake. Eisenman does as well. And Levi Zielinski is going to be responsible for allowing these front guys to win if he can hang on and keep that 54 behind him. If he lets the 54 by, they're sitting ducks up front.
Yeah, oh, Eisenman still almost clobbered the wall there, corrected his line into the corner. But yeah, he's starting to make some mistakes here in this lap. That's cost him dearly.
Yeah, he's lost the lead and now might even lose 2nd and 3rd. And look, the front 4 really closed up on each other, Finian, as we have a battle in the background. Tate Lytle and Justin Kolb side by side. This is the potential for disaster here as Lytle's way deep on the brakes to the inside.
Oh, but a very controlled line into the final corner, and he's going to try to muscle his way past Justin Kolb on the straightaway, and he will do exactly that. Great pass by the 56.
Lots of dust flying towards the front. Close, Eisenman, Zielinski, Grunberg. Grunberg is stuck behind the 6 truck right now.
Yeah, Zielinski's done a great job holding up Grunberg. Grunberg's just been flying past everyone until he's caught his top 3, so...
Eisenman trying to hunt back down that 5 truck. He's close.
Yeah, and I definitely think, too, these guys, if they're going to want to make a pass, you're going to want to do it as early as you can, because once the track starts to wear out, I think passing's going to come at a premium.
I think Justin Kolb made a mistake, lost a couple spots, and he was behind Tate Lytle, clobbered the tire barrier is what happened to the 25. So he'll slide back to 8th place. 2nd still in contention, Eisenman, and here comes Zielinski and Grunberg chucks up the inside again, but he cannot make that stick. The 6 truck using the outside lane very, very effectively.
man, Eisenman also messed up his corner up ahead, but Zielinski and Gruberg still fighting out. Zielinski pinching that 54 to the inside. Can't get by, so Zielinski still holding him up. But wow, Zielinski also aggressive, almost just hit the tire barrier.
Yeah, Sam Close really has to take advantage of this and drive away the best he can. Zielinski close to the bumper of the 77 of Eisenman. 1, 2, 3, 4, all separated by less than 2 seconds. Eisenman and Zielinski get together for a moment, and here comes Grunberg. Does he take a look into the final corner?
Yeah, Zielinski giving a little bit of a punt to Eisenman, and now Grunberg just a slight temp to Zielinski as well.
Up and over the jump, Grunberg trying to get that throttle to the floor on the dirt and in the air. Look at this battle for the top 4.
Zielinski really sideways. I think he's going to mess up the corner. I think Grunberg's got a really good shot here.
Oh, there goes Zielinski.
And
A spin. Tries to get it rolling. Derbyshire's a couple seconds behind, but that opens up the door for Grunberg to chase down the 2 leaders. McCorkle has had an incident. The same spot again. The 3rd time he's had a mistake in that corner. Marquis Smith up to 9th. The leaders separated by less than a second and a half as Grunberg is running quicker than both the drivers in front of him.
Yeah, well, it was a battle for 4. It's now a battle of 3. And with the there's Eisenman. He's going to be sideways. He might go around into Grunberg.
Some slight left front damage to the 54, but 1.4 seconds is all that separates Grunberg from the lead. It's only going to take him approximately 10 minutes to get to Sam Close, starting at the back of the field. Justin Kolb is off track and damaged. Here's how this happened for him. Just pulled off. Not exactly sure what happened to the 25. But we'll jump back to the lead as the 54 tries to chase down Sam Close.
Ooh, Austin Derbyshire off the track.
Yeah, a little off course there. Maybe not running quite as high, but look at this. Derbyshire is 6th, and he's ahead of 10 other drivers, and this is going to be huge for him in the points. This is a great run for him. The drivers he's fighting the points, Rusty Capel, Robert Hill Jr., Matt Hackathorn, all buried 13th, 14th, 15th. So Derbyshire is looking for a really good points day. I remember Justin Kolb didn't even qualify. Or not Justin Kolb, sorry. Richard Hines in the 2 didn't even make the event. So all the drivers around the cut line having poor nights tonight, with the exception of the 66.
Oh, Eisenman around again, and just in front of Zielinski too.
A spin for the pole sitter. This is really not going the way he wanted. He got out too wide and slipped out over the edge of the course, and Zielinski did a great job missing it. And now Eisenman's under attack from Tate Lytle.
Ooh, another driver under attack. Sam Close to the lead. Grunberg's caught all the way up to his back bumper here, and is now, I'd say, almost inevitable. We'll see if Sam Close can do anything to try to keep this 54 in behind him. He's got to do some aggressive blocking here.
Grunberg leading the points very comfortably. Doesn't need to win this race. Sam Close doesn't need to either, but I'm sure he's going to want to. Grunberg chucks it down the inside, and Sam Close runs a wider line, side by side for the lead here with 14 minutes left.
And Close now just trying to get better traction on the outside of the corner. I think he's going to do that. Grunberg just can't get the launch off, and Close will hold on to it for now.
I haven't seen Grunberg make a single mistake yet tonight. He's maybe doesn't have the preferred line at the moment, but he's just so flawless. Tate Lytle has had an issue at the back. He's gone around, and he'll lose a couple spots. But for the lead, here comes Grunberg to the inside.
Oh, he's going to door slam into Sam Close, but it's not enough. Close will still keep the lead.
Close has the spot. He was almost wrestled away from him. They enter the final corner, 13 minutes and 40 seconds left. It's basically the length of a heat race that Close has to hang on against the points leader of the series. Grunberg is just so smooth.
Ooh, he actually just made a little bit of a mistake on the inside. Lost a lot of momentum.
Lap trucks up ahead as Grunberg sets himself up for the far side of the course back on the pavement. That's Dave Hunt in the 53, who's currently scored P11. Rusty Capel off the racetrack with damage.
Yeah, Cable's going to call it a night. We'll see if Hunt's going to get out of the way or if he'll be a factor in this fight.
Love watching these onboard cams and watching how aggressive they are on the brakes, on the throttle, and on the steering wheel. This might be trouble for the two leaders as they approach Dave Hunt. Where does Hunt go? Where does Close go? Where does Grunberg react to?
Close is going to go right up. He's going to get to the inside of Dave Hunt. Should be able to make the pass. Grunberg will follow as well.
Yeah, they're both going to get by pretty cleanly here. So a clean pass to put Dave Hunt one lap down. 12 minutes to go. It seems like Grunberg is really taking his time. He forced the issue last time by. Looks like right now he's content running here and maybe just waiting for a better opportunity to get the lead.
Just give a little bit of a punt to Sam Close on exit.
No one else challenging. It's 14 seconds back to Levi Zielinski in third. So it's really just these two that are fighting. That's Kyle Hanshaw right in front of the leaders now as they climb the hill again.
Oh, and Close had to check up, and Grunberg also had to check up big time.
Yeah, big mistake there for the 54 as he had to jump on the binders. He lost a bunch of ground to Sam Close. He's going to get around the 46 and put himself in position to trap that 54 behind Kyle Hanshaw. And a bad line for the 54. Couldn't get around Hanshaw here. Now Hanshaw will move out of the way and let Grunberg on by. It's about 1.1 seconds between them. This is really hurting the 54.
Yeah, he had to take a very messy line, and that just ruined his run through these next few corners. So he's going to have to make all that time back up, which he should be able to do, but it's just not helping his case trying to get around this 5. He's put up a fantastic fight so far.
Corey Lindsay, Cody McCorkle fighting hard for 8th place right now. Both these guys showed promise in the heats. Really haven't had a whole lot of pace in the feature. And you see McCorkle, he's going to understeer almost off the racetrack, but he saves himself before he gets to the edge. It's such a delicate balance on this racetrack. You have to wrestle this thing around, but you have to be smooth enough that you're not heating up your tires and throwing yourself off course. It's a really weird racetrack to run in these trucks. McCorkle again, he's made that, oh, actually that time he made it, but it looked like he was going to crash. He's really struggled with that final corner all night long. Managed to make the move stick that time. Top spot again, though, under attack. Right behind these guys, Grunberg chasing down Close. He closed up about 1.5 seconds that time through.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting here because these guys are catching. McCorkle and Lindsay are also fighting for their own spot, so we saw these guys, lap cars being kind of a factor here, trying to get around this track. So the two guys trying to pass two guys at once. This might be this might upset this fight for the lead.
Yeah, you can actually hear the pavement underneath the dirt. The pavement's actually starting to show through in areas, or at least the tires are getting down to it. They're actually literally pulling the dirt off the racetrack. Grunberg more leaning on the 5 of Sam Close again. The bumper goes to him. The pressure rising for Close.
Yeah, and actually, as we come across the line now we're kind of entering into an unknown. I don't think anyone has any experience on how worn out this track is with these trucks. You see it pretty worn out already. It's only going to get worse from here. So, unknown territory starting now. Yeah,
we've completed the 15 minutes that the heat races had the length for, and wow, Grunberg was really close to hitting that tire barrier. Close throttles up mid-corner to get that lead back. It's a delicate balance, but these front two look pretty evenly matched. I just think Grunberg is having trouble getting past Sam Close. He's definitely quicker from behind, but once he gets there, he stalls.
Yeah, it's just really, I think he's just running out of options, because again, when this track is now starting to get really worn out, it's pretty much limiting a lot of passing opportunities that he otherwise would have had earlier on.
Grunberg's truck is beat up. It looks like it went for 500 laps at Bristol. But we're not done yet. About 10 laps to go if we continue at this pace.
Oh, McCorkle into the leader, Sam Close.
McCorkle in the 12, a big mistake for him. Grunberg was slipping and sliding. Actually hurt Grunberg a lot as well. What happened here to the 12? Here's a look. Same move to the inside of Lindsay and slid and slide and couldn't make it stick, and Close was already committed and he drove right into the door of the 5. So the lead back up to 2 seconds for Sam Close, and now he's got to deal with Corey Lindsay.
Oh, and then Grunberg also made a mistake in turn 1.
Big slide for the 5. As Grunberg made his mistake, so did Sam Close, and that gap that he had gained all down to 0 again. 7 minutes and 50 seconds left, and 10 laps for Close to hang on to this spot. He's done a spectacular job of it so far. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing. And is Grunberg holding back? I feel like he's been holding back very slightly.
I don't know. I mean, I don't see why you would want to hold back. The track's getting worse by the minute, so I feel like you want to go as soon as you can. Because you don't really wear out any stuff on this. You know, the tires are going to last. You don't really have to worry about that. Even with your truck the way it is, as long as the engine's fine and the suspension's fine, you're all good. So I don't see why you would hold back at this point.
He's close enough to lean on the 5 again. He won't that time through, but gets awful close to that rear bumper. Close, trying to delicately balance this truck and not make a mistake to easily let. He has to make the 54 work for it. If he makes a mistake, it's over. So make the 54 work hard, make the 54 make a mistake. If you don't make a mistake, it's going to be very difficult for Grunberg to complete this pass. You see Close running a higher line through turn 1 to carry that momentum and use the rear tires on that cushion of sorts in the less used dirt. But every lap that Sam Close goes out there, that grip is getting less and less. A push and a shove from the 54 Grunberg. The pressure heating up.
Yeah, Sam Close goes wide. Oh, he almost loops it around the rear end coming, but Sam Close keeps onto it tight.
Grunberg up the inside, took a look. No place to go. Over the jump again, and here comes Grunberg. Took a look to the inside, jumped on the brakes. I don't think he wanted to get into the side of the 5. He's going to have a really good run down into turn 1 this time.
Yeah, 6 minutes to go left in this race.
Close again, running an more outside line than Grunberg. Oh no! Grunberg is going to clobber the 5 and spin him out!
Oh!
And he's going to stop and wait. That's the gentlemanly thing to do, and they'll continue and resume their fight. Excellent sportsmanship.
He's actually just getting past the start-finish now.
Yeah, very excellent sportsmanship there by the 54. He made a mistake, and honestly, you know, that Grunberg hurt himself more because had he not run into the 5, I think the 5 still would have gone off the racetrack. He was already offline, so he could have potentially gotten the lead there. So it really hurt him more than it hurt the 5, but he did a gentlemanly thing of slowing down, letting the 5 regain its composure. Zielinski and Tate Lytle running for 3rd right now. That's getting close as well, but we're going to keep our eyes on the lead as this is what is going for the big beans here.
Yeah, Sam Close, yeah, like you're saying, he was going to go wide. He did throw it very aggressively into the corner, so I'm sure he probably learned from that, and he kind of got granted a freebie with that, with Grunberg giving the spot.
Yeah, again, that's what I was saying is that, you know, Grunberg really sent a Hail Mary there, and if he didn't do that, I think the 5 still would have gone off course, and Grunberg would have had the lead. So he's been patient so far. There's really no reason to be aggressive about it now if you've been so patient for so long. But you mentioned the track wearing out. I think he feels like it's getting more and more difficult for him to keep up with the 5, so maybe that's why the pressure is increasing for the 54. Capel stays out wide. Grunberg took another look to the inside. Close shuts the door. Oh, close wide. He's way wide. And that's going to be the lead change there. Grunberg to the top spot. And one mistake is all it takes with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, he ran a pretty much perfect up until that point. And that might have sealed the deal here. We'll see. Can Close catch back up to that 54? It'll be a tall order.
Will Grunberg make another mistake, though? Or will Sam Close make a mistake? Capel is way off behind him. Big spin for the 9. 4 laps down at this point. I don't think Grunberg is in the clear just yet. I don't think he's immune to making mistakes. We've seen a couple so far. But he's been making a whole lot less than the rest of the field. Derbyshire has spun around.
Hey, he's looped it around in turn 1.
And Marquis Smith too far back to take advantage of it. The field very spread out now other than a couple battles around the racetrack. But Grunberg this time through looks really composed with 3 minutes and 25 seconds left. Sam Close trying to keep in touch with him.
Yeah, he's only got a few more laps left. I think about maybe 5.
It was over
to try to catch.
Over a second quicker for Grunberg that time through. Well, he's playing with fire though through turn 1. He's running out pretty wide. I don't think I really expected the 54 to ascend this quickly from the rear. I think I was expecting him to kind of make his way up maybe to 3rd, 4th, or 5th, but to go from 16th to 1st is pretty impressive. Marquis Smith in the 63, slow, letting the leaders by. And Close has fallen off significantly, 2.5 now from Matt Grunberg.
Yeah, and really, I think part of that was due to just a lot of guys up in the front making mistakes and holding each other up. That really allowed Grunberg to just ascend through the order, and he was stuck behind close for a really long time. But just a great job by the 54 every single week. Started at 13th all the way up into first, and even Lytle too. Started in 16th, he's up in the fourth, trying to take away third from.
Yeah, I was watching that battle right now as Zielinski has the spot and Lytle wants it. He spins
around.
And another mistake for Zielinski. And he's going to lose potentially another spot to Drew Eisenman if he can't get turned around quick enough.
Oh, Eisenman also off the track behind him, but will get a nice run on the outside.
I don't think that was intentional. But it worked. So Eisenman around into fourth, recovering from his mistakes he made earlier after starting on pole. Zielinski back to fifth. Minute and 37 left. It'll be 2 to go next time leader hits the line. Zielinski was a little sluggish to get back to the throttle behind Eisenman. Keeping it at a really low gear is the 6. Maybe just more traction down there without spinning the tires quite as much.
Yeah, well, the problem, I think that's probably leading to him spinning out too, is that the car's just kind of getting bogged down, doesn't have enough to keep the back end going.
Yeah, again, it's a delicate balance on throttle and on the brakes here. You see Eisenman doing it very well through the dirt section. Up front, Grunberg beginning to check out. Now it's 4 seconds over Sam Close. Then it's 11.3 seconds back to Tate Lytle as he works around lap traffic. That's the 46 of Kyle Hanshaw. Now remember, this event does count for points. And if you take a look, I mean, Kyle Hanshaw might not be doing great in this race overall, but 8th place, that's still a top 10, and he still get top 10 points. So I don't think these drivers will look at it any differently. Grunberg, right now, 4.4. He's just lapping immensely quick up front. No challengers.
Ooh, Kyle Hanshaw around in turn 1 for a little bit, goes for a little slide. And even, Lindsay too also making a mistake with the tire barrier.
Go back and watch the incident with Lindsay here as he comes down into the corner. Yeah, got a ton of the tire barrier. We haven't seen those things be quite as much of a hazard as they are in the rallycross cars. You see there's Zielinski going around, though that's not for position. We haven't seen the tire barriers be that big of a deal because the rallycross cars carry so much more momentum around the corners. They hit those things a lot farther than the trucks do.
Yeah, I was going to say also because I think these guys just are struggling to just get around the corners with these things, and they're not running as fine of a line as the rallycross cars, which pretty much go right up to those tire barriers.
Cody McCorkle spun out, but for Matt Grunberg, he's on the last lap. Swings out a little wide, rejoining the asphalt behind Dave Hunt. But for Grunberg, starting at the tail of the field after a mistake in qualifying, we didn't doubt the talent, but we maybe doubted the length of the race being too short for the 54 to recover. But Finian, he's the points leader for a reason, and here he comes.
Yep, and he'll come around the final corner after completing 30 laps around this place, which is honestly an amazing length. Over the jump he goes, and another win for Matt Grunberg.
Add that one to the checklist. Grunberg, dirt and road together. Sam Close, disappointing second place after leading the majority of the event. Tate Lytle comes around the final corner. He's going to take the jump one last time, come home with a solid podium for the 56. Remember, he's not directly in the playoff picture because he didn't race last week, but he's not too far off, so he could theoretically make his way in if he has some really good luck the next couple weeks. Eisenman, the pole sitter, a 4th place. Going to be half decent for him. Zielinski, P5, starting to rebound from the mistakes he's made in previous weeks. Derbyshire, 6th place at the moment. Marquis Smith, he's around Finney. This is for position. Oh no, he's already lapped down. Never mind. Derbyshire comes around. Last car on the lead lap. He'll take the checkered flag and a good 6th place run for the 66. Well, that was as fun and as wild as we expected, Finian. Results on the screen at the moment. Biggest surprise of this group?
Biggest surprise? I mean, more or less the order kind of went along typical lines. I'd say probably Derbyshire, Marquis Smith were pretty good. Drew Eisenman, I think, was pretty good too. Kind of surprised me at this, and even Tate Lytle, I didn't expect him to be as good as this, but proved me wrong.
Drew Eisenman, remember, he won the Rallycross Triple Crown the last time we did.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if it was so much even the road course or dirt as so much as it was just knowing the course. So Eisenman with a 4th place result disappointment for Hackathorn, Cogswell, Robert Hill, and Justin Kobe. For Hackathorn, Kobe, Capel, and Robert Hill, not great efforts for their... actually, not Kobe. Just Capel, Hill, Cogswell, and Hackathorn. Not great for their playoff efforts, though. Marquis Smith, 7th in his first event. Not too shabby in the 63. How about that?
Yeah, he did a really good job. I hope we can see him around again. I'm kind of curious on how he does on the normal stuff. This is kind of an outlier, so... But, yeah, solid finish for him in his first race with these guys.
We're going to jump to break momentarily. We'll be back in just a moment, we promise, for interviews. Stay with us. Welcome back live to SimTV, here now with 7th place finisher Marquis Smith. Marquis, first of all, welcome to 3Wide, and what a great first run. I know it wasn't probably quite as high as you were hoping, but still a really solid P7 effort. Kind of wild out there, road and dirt. How fun was that?
Oh, it was a blast. Just trying to maintain the grip levels in the truck while you're kind of messing with the gears and trying to figure out where you're going to get that grip at. Just paying attention to where the line's kind of going off in the dirt was probably the biggest thing. As you can see, people kind of struggled with it going through the grass all night, just kind of overcooking it a bit.
I guess my biggest question walking into this race was who was going to be good here? I mean, was it going to be the road specialist? Was it going to be the dirt specialist? I mean, what skills did this require? Was it a mix of everything, or was it more one thing than the other?
I would say definitely a mix of everything. You know, just being able to understand how the tires in a stock car and the chassis are going to function on a road course, and then being able to hang it out where you can and realize what grip lever you're going to have braking and when to brake and how early to do that on the dirt was probably the biggest challenge. So I feel like it wasn't really a one-sided thing. You had to be good kind of all around.
All right, Marquis. Well, hey, welcome to 3Wide and welcome to SimTV. We hope to see you around a lot more. A great effort for your first run here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I should be back next week. I can't wait to race more with these guys.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Marquis. Have a good night.
Yep, you too.
Drew Eisenman finished 4th tonight in his number 77 Chevrolet Silverado. Drew, starting from the pole, I know you're maybe a little bit disappointed in not being able to hang on to it. A couple mistakes here and there, but overall, a pretty decent race. Talk to us about your night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with 4th and just competing. I really didn't expect that pole lap to come through the way it did, so that was a nice, pleasant surprise. I wasn't very quick in the heats, and I was close with Sam in practice, but he was way more consistent. So I figured consistency was going to be the issue, and that's what bit me tonight. I made a couple big mistakes that cost me a ton of time, but it was really fun out there. That thing was a handful, so I'm happy to take home 4th for sure.
I think I can't ignore the fact that we did rallycross cars here in 3Wide back during the Triple Crown events over last winter, and I believe you won those events. So did that experience carry over from the rallycross side of things, or are you just surprised at your own self and being able to run as high and as well as you did tonight?
I mean, I think they're kind of similar, right? Like, I think if you do well with the rallycross stuff, you're going to tend to do better with this. The trucks are a lot less precise, right? You can't really manipulate the car with the trail braking going into the corner to get it to turn like the rallycross stuff. So you really this is even more sensitive to just making a meter late turn in going into that quick right hander could throw you completely offline. So I think it helps, but I think when you see Matt and Sam and these guys that have just kind of been around more than me, it's when you're out of practice, the consistency is the first thing to go. So I think it helps, but I think ultimately the guys that beat me were the guys that were just faster.
All right, well, still a 4th place, top 5 result for the 77. Drew, thanks for talking to us. Good to see you back, and a great run tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
You too.
Tate Lytle finished 3rd tonight. A strong podium effort for the 56 Tate, but battle with Levi Zielinski for some time. That looked like a lot of fun. Are you happy with P3, or do you think you could have done a little better?
P3 is probably good as I would have done. Spun out on like lap 13, but came back, and I was just being patient behind Levi. I figured if I put enough pressure on him, he'd slide it into turn 1, and that's exactly what happened. So P3 though, that's not too bad.
I was asking Marquis Smith about what kind of racing does this racetrack suit the best. Did you think it was more dirt experience, more road course experience, oval experience? We might as well throw that out there, or was it something different entirely?
I think it was a dirt experience, honestly, because you saw Gruenberg just beat everyone's butt. And he's not the best on road courses, but he'll beat the best of them on a dirt track. So I felt like, for the most part, I mean, you need to have a little bit of road in you. I mean, he's not bad at road per se. He's just really good at dirt. So I think that's a little bit of dirt, tiny bit of road, but not much else.
All right. Well, Tate Lytle, 3rd tonight. Good job, bud. We'll see you next week.
Thanks. See you tomorrow.
Sam Close finished 2nd tonight. Sam, so close to beating that 54. You had the lead on him for quite some time. Managed to hang on and hold off the 54 for a long time. Then one little mistake in the final corner gave it all up. Do you think if you could do anything over, could you have beaten that 54?
Yeah, it was hard to pass. It was hard to do anything really. Had I not made that mistake, I think I might have been able to keep him behind me. But he was filling up the mirror big time, and it definitely affected how I was driving. And I came out of the chicane, and I think the right it kind of swung out to the right, and then when I tried to get on the brakes, I just overshot that corner, and there was nothing I could do about it. But Matt was definitely the class of the field. He had me going into turn 1 every time, and I was just trying to cover up the bottom so that he couldn't stick it in there. I guess I talked to him a little bit. He said he was backing it up a little bit more than me, and it was one of those deals where it was like go slow to be fast, but you still had to. It was intense, basically.
You have a faster lap than Gruenberg, at least on our scoring monitors. You have a 48.101 to Matt's 48.114. Not a huge difference there, but if you could have done anything different those last couple laps, and also I wanted to ask you about the incident over on the far side of the course, actually turn 1, the long dirt right-hander, when he got into you there. All fair game for him to stop and let you continue, or what was the thought going through there when he got into you?
No, that was just courteous driving by Matt. I mean, he got into me. He knew he got in too hot and got into me, and then he allowed me to recover. And that was just, I got a lot of respect for that. He made a mistake, and it's hard. It's easy to make a mistake here. And so he let me gather it back up and get going again. And I really appreciate that. He won fair and square, and that was cool.
All right. Well, Sam Close, 2nd place tonight in the 3OG number 5. Sam, thanks for talking.
Thanks a lot, guys. Another shout out, 3OG, 3WideRacing, and also SimTV. You guys do a great job. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sam. Have a great night. Matt Gruenberg finished 1st tonight, but not after a lengthy battle with Sam Close. Matt, some contact there. You did the gentlemanly thing and let him get back rolling, but were you holding back there, or were you just kind of biding your time, or were you really trying to keep up with that 5 those last couple laps?
I think it was more of there just wasn't a lot of passing opportunities, and if he was in the preferred line the whole time, I don't think that there was going to be any way I was going to be able to get around him without bumping him. And I really didn't want to bump him for the win there. So whenever I got into him and won, I think we had like a 16-second lead there. So it was fine that I just stopped and let him regain it. So I didn't want to win the race because of taking him out in turn one. But yeah, it was really just waiting for the driver in front of you to mess up there once I got around in the top four before you were able to pass him.
There was some discussion earlier with some other drivers about what does this racetrack really suit? Is it dirt? Is it road course? Is it both? Is it neither? I mean, I think Tate Lytle said that it was a lot more dirt experience, and that was why he said that you were so good here. Do you agree with him or not?
Yeah, I'd say definitely the dirt experience helped out a lot there once the track transitioned to it. Really just being able to pick up a lot of time through that dirt section, I think, really helped. But yeah, I mean, I'd say dirt probably helped, but a little bit of rally course experience wouldn't have hurt either for those tight asphalt turns.
All right, well, Matt Grunberg, another victory notched in the wins column for 2019. A very successful campaign for the championship this year. Matt, thanks for talking to us, and good luck when we see you next.
Thank you.
Well, Finian, that is it for the interviews tonight. Pretty crazy action out there. A fun race for everybody involved. I think there were a couple of drivers that would probably never want to see this racetrack again, but thoughts going forward after this event?
Going forward, I think we're in for a solid fight for the championship, and just a fight also just to get in, because that battle's not done yet. Still a lot of guys trying to get themselves in, and a lot of guys in that are already in just fighting to stay in there. But we're up for a couple pretty fantastic tracks. We got Myrtle Beach, Atlanta, Talladega, Coda, Knoxville, Five Flags, Homestead rounding out the season. I mean, that's a great list of tracks to go to.
It's a great list of tracks for sure. 3-wide action tomorrow night from Indianapolis for the Race Kings Cup Series. That's what's coming up next on Sim TV. We got a lot going on Tuesday as well, so keep your notifications on with those bells to the bottom right of the video. Thanks for watching so much. We'll see you tomorrow night.